Action!
South Bronx, the South Bronx, South Bronx.
To be successful in b-boying, you have to go your entire b-boy career being yourself. To me, it is an art form.
You know, Kung Fu was part of the ghetto experience. I once showed K Mel a move, right? And he was like, yo, that move is fucking sick. And I'm like, you want to see where I got it from? And he's like, yeah. And then I showed him the simplified version. He's like, nigga, you bit my shit.
You cannot dictate that in the dance. You could only dictate that in yourself. 10 years ago, I predicted where this dance was going. I said this dance is going to split up into 3 factors. And I explained all 3 factors. I said you're going to have your traditional cats. You know what I'm saying? Cats that just want to dance. Cats that just going to be up in the parties. Cats that's going to be like, this is the real b-boying and we want to do the real b-boying the way real b-boying was in the Bronx. Then you got the second fraction, which is the athletes. Those are the guys that's training 6, 7 days a week. Those are the guys that's going to the Red Bull BC1s. Those are the guys that's going to those big competitions. You know what I'm saying? Are athletes, you know? That's the sporting part of the dance. And then the third fraction is the entertainment. You know, you're going to have the cats that's doing the music videos and the movies and doing backup dance for Gwen Stefani and Madonna. All 3 are important, you know? Not one is better than the other, you know? It just so happens that the game splits. Like, take me, for instance. I like to do both. I'm a traditionalist, but I like to be in the competitions. You know what I'm saying? And if an artist is willing to deal with my conditions, then yeah, I'll do your music video and I'll tour the world with you. You know what I'm saying? However, us as human beings, we have to figure out what it is we best at and stick to that and be the best at that thing. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily mean that break dancers that only do competitions are fake. No, that's what they choose to do. I like to use the example of basketball. You got the hardcore street ballers from New York City, the Cage on West 4th Street, you know, Rutgers in Harlem, right? Those are the hardcore street ballers. Look at that as your traditional b-boys, right? Then you got the NBA, right? Look at that as like all your competition b-boys, right? Now, if we look at basketball, the hardcore street ballers respect NBA players and support that, right? And NBA superstars, no, I'm not real unless I go to the Cage in West 4th Street or Rutgers. And that's why you'll see Jordan at Rutgers or you'll see Kobe Bryant go to Harlem to play at the Cage. You understand what I mean? And test his skill against the street ballers. And he respects that. That is the only difference between basketball and breaking. That breaking doesn't give each fraction its respect like, let's say, the basketball players do. Hardcore street ballers respect NBA players. NBA players bow down to hardcore street ballers. So at the end of the day, it's that. It's a mutual respect. You do that, this is what I do. I'm going to be the best at what I do. You'd be the best at what you do. I'm not saying that I'm better than you, but nobody's better than me. But I'm not going to knock what you do. You feel me? And that's what it is basically when it comes to this dance. You have so many different fractions and not any of them is bad. Because at the end of the day, it just means that our dance is seeping into other places. You understand what I mean? I want to see I want to see breaking on ESPN, the X Air Games, the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? A lot of b-boys train like athletes. It's time for them to get paid like athletes. You know, I want to go to the Foot Locker and buy me the new Nike Air Machines. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. If we're gonna be training like athletes, then start paying them like athletes, but acknowledge that they are athletes. You understand what I'm saying? When breakers finally understand this, when the whole world of breaking finally understands this, the professional level of the dance is gonna escalate. And when the professional level of the dance escalates, then our great-grandchildren and our grandchildren, if they're still doing this, they're going to be getting rich off this. You understand what I mean? Like skateboarders. Skateboarders are rich from riding a skateboard. You feel me? And doing little tricks. We got basically the same skill as them, except we're not using a skateboard. We're using our bodies. You know what I'm saying? So why ain't we rich? Why ain't we got all these things? I had this conversation with Tony Hawk, the skateboarder. We had this conversation and he said, Ness, the reason why breakers ain't rich is because you guys sell yourself short. And he gave me an example. He said, Sony PlayStation made a b-boy game, right? Sony PlayStation went to Crumbs, they went to Crazy Legs, they went to to Kamel, they went to Lilu, and they said, we want you to be in our video game. And all the b-boys' dicks got hard, and they said, yeah, and signed their name on the dotted line and got a little bit of pay, right? Now, an electronic video game company goes to Tony Hawk and says, we want you to be in our video game. And Tony Hawk says, hold up. If you come to me, that means you know who I am. And you know that I'm the best. No, I do not want to be in your video game. But we can sit down here and talk about how we're going to make my video game happen. You see the difference? Tony Hawk knows his worth. B-boys don't know their worth. So like I said, once the b-boy mentality escalates and understands worth, understands exclusivity, then and only then will b-boys really be financially, you know what I'm saying, at the level that they should be. The borderline is how many times you go to the bank. You know, I think I wish I knew where that border was so I could expose it to the world, and then a lot of these fake cats won't even be out here. You understand what I'm saying? Like, let's look at some of these cats that's winning. I mean, Lilu once said it himself. Lilu once said, I am not B-boy for life. I am enjoying myself now while I am winning and could do this, but when this is over for me, I move on to the next thing. You see, that is somebody who has come to terms with himself and knows, I'm not a b-boy. I'm just doing this for my money, for my fame, for whatever it is. You know, the borderline is you. You have to really be able to determine what it is you are and what you're not. That's why little respect I have for Lilu is because he said that. Because he admitted that. He didn't try to say, oh, I'm real with this. I'm b-boy. Nah, he said it himself. I ain't b-boy for life. This is what I'm doing now. I'm having fun. I'm making money. When this is over, I'm moving on to the next thing. That's real. That's where the borderline is. The borderline is each individual himself or herself. Is it heading in a good direction? To my standards, no. Is it headed for a good direction for the sake of culture, for the sake of the art form, you know, for the sake of future practitioners having more opportunities and money? Yes, it is, you know, so it's mixed emotions from my part. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to dictate the dance. I'm just here to guide a few people through this thing. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's both. I think it's, yes, it's going in a good direction, and no, it's not going in a good direction. But I say no only to my preference. You know what I'm saying? But when I look at it on the grand scheme of things, the whole plan, you know, and air all the possibilities, I think it's doing pretty good. And I think in another 10 years, competitions are going to be a lot more respected. You know what I'm saying? I think we will finally get up there to that level of like X Air Games and in that nature, you know, and not just a little stage in the back of the grounds. I'm talking about front and center, like BMX tricksters and skateboarders and gymnasts and all that stuff.